Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all the praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations, much love and respect to you, Akim, out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. And this lesson is going to be entitled, A Valley Represents Low Morals. Okay? A valley represents low morals. In the scriptures, you know, the word valley is mentioned. And we're going to get the definition of valley real quick. It says a valley is a geographical feature, an elongated depression in the Earth's surface, typically found between hills or mountains, right? It often contains a river or stream and is formed by erosion, either by water or glaciers. That's Esau's theory. The shape can be U or V, depending on the erosion agent. Okay, so it speaks about the fact that it's between two hills. Right now, the hills are contrast of high territorial positions. You got the high territorial positions, and then you got the lowest point, which is the valley. Okay, right? Because depression also means to I believe to a decrease. Right. Matter of fact, let's look up the etymology of the word depression. Right. It said it's an elongated depression in the Earth's surface. Let's look up the word depression. Now, like I said, there's a spiritual meaning to it, which represents low moral values. All right. The word depression comes from the Latin word deprimere, which means to press down. Okay. D translates to down, and premier means to press. Okay, so when someone says that they're depressed, it means their spirit is being pressed down. They feel low, you know, right? So it means to press down. That's what depression means. Now, let's go into a few scriptures dealing with the term valley. Okay, I'm going to start with Psalms 23 and 4. This is Psalms 23 and verse 4. Oh, Salakia. Do that again. Psalm 23 and verse 4. It says, Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Right now, this valley of the shadow of death is speaking of what? It's speaking of America spiritually. Okay, that's the valley of the shadow of death. It says, Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Why? Because there's many evils going on in the valley of the shadow of death. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Because America is the lowest place when it comes to morality. It's the hub of wickedness, if you will. Okay, when it pertains to morality. Okay, now let's look up the Hebrew word for valley. Okay, the Hebrew word for valley is Gawah. Gawah. No, excuse me. No, that's it. Gawah, not Gawah. Gaya. 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 Rather Gaya. Okay. Which says valley, a steep valley, narrow gorge. Okay. So this is representative of Babylon the Great. Now, like I said, it's a moral thing, right? Morally, Babylon is very, very low. Let's go to matter of fact, we could even hit up Job 10 and 22 first. Let's start with Job 10 and 22. This is Job 10 and 22, and it reads, I'll start at verse 20, right? Which this is speaking about death. Job was speaking about death, but spiritually, this also does represent Babylon the Great. It says, are not my days few? Cease then, and let me alone, that I may take comfort a little, before I go whence I shall not return, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death. Okay, now let's continue. It says, a land of darkness, as darkness itself, and of the shadow of death. Right? We read about the valley of the shadow of death. That represents Babylon the Great, without any order, and where the light is as darkness. That is America. That is Babylon the Great, because the scriptures speak about your turning of things upside down. Their whole philosophy is contrary to the right way. It's contrary to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? So their thing is, they think that a man cutting his rod off and becoming a woman, that's good. They think that not beating your not disciplining your children with the belt, that's wicked, or disciplining your children with the belt is wicked, rather. So their whole mindset is contrary to the scriptures. Okay, that's why it says the light is as darkness, and the scriptures say, "Woe to you that call evil good and good evil." Okay, see, that's going into its morals. Its morals are no good. You know what? Let's do this. Woe to you that call good evil and evil good. Okay, so this is Isaiah 5 and 20. It says, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. See, so that's your backwards mindset when it comes to morality. Your morals are backwards. Okay? Now, when we go to Revelations, let's go to Revelations, the 8th chapter, or the 11th chapter, rather. This is Revelations 11. This is Revelations 11 and verse 8, and it reads, and their dead bodies shall lie in the great street of the and their dead bodies shall lie in the great street of the great city. Shalakia. Let me read that again. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city. What's that great city? It's not the Vatican. The Vatican is not a great city. Okay? The hub of the world, that's that great city, which is America. Okay? It says, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. What was going on in Sodom? All manner of wickedness. That's why the Lord destroyed it through fire. And that's why the Lord is going to destroy America by fire. Okay? And Egypt, what was that known for? That was known for a lot of wickedness as well. Right? Outside of the captivity of the Israelites. But that's the main thing. Right? But there was a lot of wickedness going on in Egypt as well. And a lot of the customs from Egypt, go back to, a lot of the customs in America go back to Egypt. You know, the Elder Yashawamba goes into that a lot. You know, like different things, bowling, beer, a lot of things that customs, makeup that you do here, pornography, I should say rather, that goes back to Egypt. Okay, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. So this is showing you the low morals that go on in America. This is Revelations 18, and that's why a lot of these other nations don't respect America too, because of the low morals that it has. This is Revelations 18. I'll start at verse 4. It says, And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, and that ye be my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquity. Saying the wickedness, the evil there, the morals there are so terrible that their sins have reached unto heaven. That's America. Okay, and these Edomites still have the nerve to say, God bless America. The Heavenly Father has cursed America and has destined it for destruction. Okay, it says, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled, fill to her. In the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. And this is the mindset of Babylon the Great. Okay, but they're gonna end up getting a rude awakening, because the Lord is going to destroy that place completely. Right? And I want to show you something else, because the name Amalek, right? What does the name Amalek mean? What's the definition? We know the Amalekites, who they are, who run the world now, right? The top wicked of the earth. And we know that what the scriptures say, how Amalek was the first of the nations, but they shall perish, right? These are the lowest people on the earth. These are the most immoral people on the planet Earth. These were the ones that when we came out of Egypt, they were slaughtering the old people, the sick. They didn't come and fight the man straight up. They went and slaughtered the old and the sick. Same thing these devils did when they came over here to encounter Gad, right? And by the way, Christopher Columbus specifically was a crypto JOO, okay? Which he didn't encounter Gad. He encountered Simeon. I believe it was Simeon. It wasn't Gad, because he was in the Isle of Hispaniola. He didn't make it to America. Okay? So that's a lie right there that they try to push. This is the word Amalek, or Imalak, which means dweller in a valley. Okay, dweller in a valley. Okay, so these Edomites, specifically these Amalekites, they're very low in morals, very low in morals. For you to not fight the men straight up and destroy the women and children, right? And there's another instance where they kidnapped the women and children. When King David and them were out at war, they took the women and children, which they did the same thing to the Native Americans on this side. And that's a low life. That's not you don't hear nothing of King David doing no shit like that. They would fight the men straight up, because there's no honor in that. But they are of low moral standards. Okay? Hence, they are the dwellers of the valley. Okay? It's spiritual, man. All right? I seen this one chick, and I was looking, and it's like something about her gave me a vibe like, yo, this chick is like a real, how do you say, a real low life slut. Like, she just looked like she'll just like backstab her friend. She just seems so fake to me. You know what I'm saying? And I found her name was Vale or something like that. It was really like a man's name. Her real name was Vale. She called herself something different, but her real name was like Vale. And I found out that name actually means valley. And I said, that explains it. See, things are spiritual. Names have meanings. Okay? When you name your child something, there's a vibration attached to that. There's a vibration attached to those names. Okay? I didn't think anything of my name growing up. Didn't really thought it was pretty much unassuming. How would you say it? I didn't think it was a special name like that. I might not even have liked it all that much. But now coming into this truth and understanding, first of all, my name is a Hebrew name, and it has a good meaning to it. I embrace it because names are important, and Lord willing, I could live up to the name. But names are important. Names are very important, man. They got certain people, certain Jakes, they name their child Bilal, or Damien, or whatever, man, or names that don't even mean anything. Shaquisha, they don't even mean anything. You see, and by doing that, they put a curse on themselves. There's even a place out here that I found out that the name of it, and I thought this place is demonic. And I found out because you go over there, you're likely to get robbed, and a bunch of wild Ishmaelites and wicked Jakes, and it's just a place where you gotta watch out, And come to find out, I look up the name and it means the valley in French. So when I speak about it to the brothers, that's the valley, right? But it's funny because that place is actually like a very nice, people over there got money. People in that area got money. There's like well-to-do Ishmaelites out there and Edomites and stuff like that. But it's still like a place where a lot of crime and things are going on over there as well. So it's very highly demonic. And don't even get started on the police. The police over there, man. One time I got stopped 2 times within 1 minute, within 1 or 2 minutes. I'm not exaggerating. I got stopped by this cat. You seen clearly he was trying to find a reason. I said, "Wait, why'd you stop me?" You didn't put your. I was like, "Yeah, I put my seatbelt on." He's like, "Yeah, but you didn't put it on as soon as you went off. You were putting it while you were going." So he just was in other words, he was making up a reason to stop you, like these devils do, right? So then after I dealt with him, blah 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 blah, agreed with my adversary. He let me go. I don't believe he gave it to me. He let me go. And then as soon as I turned down the corner, another cop came and stopped me and harassed me. And there's multiple times that happened because that area is a demonic area. It's a demonic area. Okay? It's very demonic. All right? But the name is the valley. So there's meaning behind names. Okay? So the name, the valley, that has a vibration, which means spiritually, it means, low morals and ethics. So, Lord willing, this is edifying to the elect, and I'll say shalom.